Now, it's more than 40 years since the team from the bottom tier of the Football League made it to a major cup semi-final. But last night, Wycombe equalled the feat of Rochdale back in the early 60s by beating Charlton at the Valley. A fantastic night for the League Two team, but as much as Charlton say it ain't so, they are now a club in crisis. Ned Bolting spent the evening in South East London.
It was to be the night the dam burst. As the mist rolled in from the Thames, quiet little Charlton sought solace in their songs and refuge from the realities of the Premiership. The night promised reconciliation.
We don't want the fans now starting to not get behind the team, and we don't want the team getting dejected and not doing their best for the fans. Tonight's a night where we need to pull that together again.
An hour and a half before kick-off, Reid could have had no idea what lay ahead. Wycombe were about to hand down a withering sentence.
We're against a top side at a top place to play football, but we'll give it a go. It's a big ask, but we'll give it a go.
Did the pre-match pint already taste a little bitter?
You need to sit down and battle, and we just haven't got the bollocks for it.
What they were about to see would serve only to confirm their very worst fears.
They're not playing for the manager. I don't think they're doing it. He's a wonderful guy, but I'm not sure he's strong enough with the players.
Hopefully Les can turn it around. He's got pedigree at the club.
We're not contemplating defeat. We see this as an opportunity to move on and show people what we can do.
But what can they do? Romadal and Thomas flashed pace and ability for 5 minutes, but it was only 5 minutes before Wycombe took full control of the match. Scott Carson, the last line of defence, they needed him. Time and time again, they needed him. And if Les Reid looked a little lost, he had reason to be. 35 minutes played, and Jermaine Easter skipped onto Tommy Mooney's flick on, and that was it. It was a brilliant finish. At one end, delight, and at the other, the badge pointing had begun. The fans, who had endured 2 heavy defeats in the Premier League, now had no stomach for this. Half-time came and went, but little changed. Charlton was still ragged, Wycombe well marshalled. And although Hasselbank's introduction inspired a clutch of half-chances, Charlton had no answer to Wycombe's tenacious, brave, organised performance. In the end, it was wholly, emphatically, historically their night. Lambert and his men punched out their delight into the dark South East London skies. They deserved it.
It's astronomical and can't underestimate it. It's just been a massive, big effort from everyone at the football club, and to be there, I'm as proud as anything.
And when the jeers subsided, the lockdown started. 1 hour passed. Outside there were protests, inside no comment from Reid, or from anyone for that matter. It was time to go.
Yeah, we don't really want you to report now. It's private property now, gentlemen. You're really happy you left the premises now.
Best to leave Charlton alone to lick their wounds.
Well, we shouldn't and we won't lose sight of a terrific win for Wycombe Wanderers, but Charlton's situation demands discussion. The club has met at a very high level today and produced the following statement. The club apologised for last night's performance, which was totally unacceptable. If players cannot show passion for the quarter-final of a major cup competition, say Charlton, they need to look at themselves and not others. Ian Dowie was backed with £11.2 million in the summer. The result, we're in the bottom 3 with only 12 points. Les Reid had no influence in the summer transfers. He knows the players he would like to bring in, but we have to operate in the transfer windows. And we do not accept we are going to lose our status in the Premiership and want to get in the personnel who believe that as well. Interesting stuff. Robbie, a couple of points I want to put to you. First, does it surprise you in those comments to see that a club doing what they rarely do, which is blame the players rather than the manager?
Yeah, well, listen, it's very much laid the blame's all laid at the feet of the players. I think when your fans are shouting you're not fit to wear the shirt, that's probably the biggest slur that you can have on you. Listen, many times you've heard the shouts of, you know, what a load of rubbish, but I think when you're talking about the shirt, that's about history, that's about you not putting in enough effort. And you hope you get a reaction. Now I could sit here and say, listen, I was part of a Wimbledon side that got relegated, and I know that situation that the players are in, but you need a couple of strong characters in your dressing room, you need a couple of leaders. I look along the Charlton side at the moment, and I'm not sure there's those big players there. We know Jimmy, I know Herman Horizon, I know Matty Holland did that, but I'm not sure if they've got a big enough influence over the team. Luke Young's been out and injured. I'm not sure if they've got that influence in the side at the moment, you know, to get them through. And it's a difficult, really difficult time, because you're so brittle. You go a goal down in this situation like Charlton, that you don't feel you're going to get back into the game.
Now, there are similar comments from the Charlton chairman, Richard Murray, in some of the morning newspapers, which people at home will see. And he alludes to the fact that whilst they want to give Les Reed a chance in the January transfer window to put things right and make his own buys, they've got key games between now and then. If it were to get much worse than it is now between now and then, can you foresee further changes?
I can. I just think, you know, these 3 games, I think, now before the transfer window, they could almost be dead and buried by the time we get to the transfer window. They'd almost need, you know, promotion kind of form, you know, Champions League form to get them through. I just think your motivation ultimately comes from the guy in charge of the football club, the manager, and he's got to motivate the players out there to do the job. At the moment, it's not working, Matt. And you know, I just think back to maybe 12 months ago when 1 or 2 people at that football club were saying Alan Kurbis's took them as far as they could. I'll tell you what, they wouldn't mind an Alan Kurbis there now.
Interesting stuff.